I was diagnosed around 2014 um, with UC in the lowest part of my colon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and at the time, I was living in the Philippines with my wife,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio.
Mm-hmm. And you're living in Peru now.
Yep, my wife and I have been here for almost 3 years. We were back in the States for 6 or 7 years before we recently moved here in 2021.
And I think we were saying earlier, I think you're the first person from Peru in the Shield program, and we learned some stuff about that. So Matt, can you tell us a little bit about the experience of in 2014 being diagnosed with UC? What was that like? I know in 2018 is when you really started deciding not to use medications and really try to go natural, and it's 2024 now.
Yeah.
You're talking 10 years you've been dealing with this. Can you share a little bit about that journey and the ups and downs and what kind of helped you get to a point where you arrived and said, I think Shield could be unique and different from all the effort and knowledge I've already received?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said before, I was diagnosed in 2014, but I really started seeing symptoms about a year before then. And that was the hardest part, like just being scared of seeing blood, having diarrhea, having urgency, and not knowing what was going on in my body. And at the time, I was living abroad, so I didn't have family around. I didn't really know much about the health system in the country that I was living, and it was just like a real struggle. And then when I first got diagnosed, it was a bit of a relief, even because I someone had told me this is what's going on, and this is how we can help you after a year of wondering what the heck's going on in my body. And then when I moved back, my wife and I would move back to the US in 2015, and I went the traditional medicine route with the gastroenterologist, and they started me off on prednisone and mesalamine, and that worked for a little bit of time, and it helped me kind of decrease some of the symptoms. And then it really stopped working, so they bumped me up to biologics, and I was on Humira for a year to a year and a half, and that helped quite a bit in hiding the symptoms, but obviously didn't help me heal in any way. It just hid the symptoms really well. And then when it stopped helping and symptoms returned, they bumped me up to Entyvio injections, and that helped a little bit, but not as much as the Humira had. So I was only getting marginally better, and then symptoms, would be hidden for a while, and every time they would come back, they'd come back stronger.
Mm.
So that was kind of the point where I decided to change my perspective and change the journey and the route that I was going, because the medications that the doctors were giving me, they would be helpful until they wouldn't be. And the minute they stopped working and my symptoms would return, every time my symptoms would return, it was worse than the time before.
And you were
So
stuck because
I was
you've
I
taken the
I didn't
harshest,
I
strongest
didn't
stuff. Yeah.
know what to do, because there wasn't another level to go up in drugs, and gastroenterologists were suggesting surgery and having my parts of my colon or all of my colon removed. And at the time, it sounds enticing, like, oh, so you're just going to take out the part that's not working and I'm going to be better, but it's really not how it works. You can have that surgery and you can still have symptoms, and then for the rest of your life, you have to deal with having that surgery and still having issues with the GI tract. So that was never appealing to me. I've also had two open heart surgeries in my life. So, like, another major surgery was not something that was appealing to me at all.
Mm.
So that was around 2018. And that's when I decided to go a more natural route.
You had done that for 4 years, and you already had conviction that you knew natural
Yeah.
protocols was something you would wanted to invest in and figure it out. So your mind was set on it. You decided that you were no longer going to take these medications. So you've been medication free since 2018. And
Yes.
I know that you went on some of the strictest nutrition plans that you could find, including like
Yeah.
all fruit. You did an all
So
fruit
I've
nutrition
I've
plan for like a
I've
year.
tried every diet you can imagine, as I'm sure a lot of people have. I
But you
tried the
put in the real
SCD.
work here. It's not been discipline.
Yeah,
It's not been the problem for you.
no, I tried the SCD diet. I tried the vegan diet. I tried vegan fruitarian diet. Um,
So you're only
I,
eating
I
bananas and a few different fruits,
yeah,
avocado and
right.
and I mentioned, and just to give some props, you said that that fruitarian plan did help lower symptoms, but you lost a
Absolutely.
lot of
Like that
weight
was
and
that was
energy.
something that when I found it, I was like, this is super helpful. I know this is something that my body's responding well to.
Yep.
But I didn't find it sustainable for me in the long term. I was having really low energy, losing a ton of weight, and I was already low in weight. So to lose more weight was pretty scary for me.
Yeah, you dropped
Uh,
to like 110 pounds on that, right?
at my lowest weight ever, I was 110 pounds, and
Yeah.
for about a year or so before I came to you guys at Crohn's Colitis Lifestyle, I was just sort of trying to manage my symptoms with eating a healthy diet and kind of white knuckling it, and
Yeah.
that's when I came to the program in 2022.
What made you feel like the Shield program could be different or unique for you?
There were a couple things that really appealed to me about the program. And the first thing was sort of the holistic view of the process and tailoring it to each individual person and saying, we're going to make a protocol that works for you. One of the things that really caught my eye was before I started the program, I had seen some videos that you put out where you were talking about how um, you've helped people heal who were vegans. You've helped people heal who were
Carnivores.
carnivores,
Yep.
omnivores,
Hmm.
whatever. So to me, like the idea of not following a strict diet, which I had done for so long, and tailoring it to what works, as opposed to saying you can only eat fruit or you can only eat what's in this list, that was really
Yes.
appealing. And that was something that other programs weren't offering. And like I said, with my aunt being a naturopath, herbs and supplements have always been a part of my life. And I always
They're
believed
very valuable.
that
Yeah.
they were helpful and valuable. So when someone told me you can't take them, when I found Crohn's Colitis Lifestyle and the whole picture,
Yeah.
big picture was diet, supplements, lifestyle, and it's all combined.
Yeah.
That really drew me to it. And then
You-
the one other thing is the coaching, because I had been doing it kind of on my own, trying diets for so long, and
Yeah.
the ability to have an expert, and not
Yep.
just a coach and a health expert, but someone who's also had a diagnosis and been through some of the same things that I've experienced. I mean, that was massive.
What were your symptoms prior to the program? How many bowel movements during the day? How many bowel movements at night? What were the other symptoms you were dealing with?
So prior to the program, I was probably in the range of 10 to 15 bowel movements a day.
Hmm.
At my that was right before the program started, but at my worst, I've been upwards of 20 bowel movements a day, 4, 5, 6 bowel movements at night, which was just really a struggle because I wasn't getting any sleep,
Hmm.
which affected my fatigue, my weight, my mental health, everything. I was having blood in pretty much every bowel movement. I was having urgency, and I was having, all those times I was going to the bathroom every day, I was having diarrhea, but I felt constipated because I wasn't really evacuating the bowels. And
Hmm.
so it was a combination of constipation and diarrhea.
So you're having 12, 15 bowel movements a day. It'd been up to 20 plus. You're having extreme lots of blood and urgency, diarrhea, can't relieve a bowel movement. You're going to the bathroom 5 or 6 times a night on top of the 12 or 15.
No, that's included. And like, so
Okay.
15, like maybe 5 or 6 of those were at night.
Okay. So 8 to 10 during the day, 5 or 6 at night.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you're very low energy. Your weight's at about 123 pounds when you joined
Yeah. I mean,
after
when I
all
say
that
low
work.
energy, Dane, when I say low energy, like, I was getting up from bed, walking to the kitchen to get some water, walking out to the patio to check on my dog, and in that 2 minutes, I was getting winded. I was tired.
But can I ask you, what are your symptoms now?
So right now, I'm really feeling like we talked about before. I'm feeling the best that I have probably since 2017. I
Wow.
have, yeah, thank
Good
you.
job,
I
man.
have about 2 to 3 bowel movements a day, two consistently, sometimes three. I'm
Wow.
not
Two
I'm
bowel
not
movements
having
a day,
yeah, and
maybe a
I'm not
third.
having
Yep.
any at night. That's the huge thing for me. None at night.
Ooh. No bowel movements a night, two a day, sometimes three. How much do you weigh?
I weigh 150 pounds. It's my healthiest weight and ideal weight, and I haven't been 150 pounds since 2017.
Are you able to eat a broad nutrition plan?
For me, for a long time, with all those strict diets, and I would just had so much fear of not only can I eat this, can I not eat that, but if I'm not at home and I'm even if it's not a restaurant or if I'm at a family gathering or whatever, I always had this fear of before I even went, what am I going to be able to eat there, and how is
Yeah.
it going to affect me?
Mhm.
So above all else, it's just getting over that fear of being able, even though I want to eat healthy foods and try to eat healthy foods, just getting over that fear of being of what am I not going to eat, or if I do eat this, how's it going to affect me? I mean, just yesterday I had oatmeal for breakfast and I snacked on some nuts and berries, and that's something that I never would have been able to do.
That's not SCD
Um,
friendly. That's not the
yeah,
fruitarian friendly. That's not paleo friendly. That's not
right,
carnivore friendly. That's the considered the anti Crohn's colitis. And for someone who is on the most specific diets, your body can handle nuts, seeds, and oatmeal, which I'm not saying is the answer, but your body can handle it.
right.
And let me ask you this even one step further, Matt. Can you handle what we call a celebration meal? Because we don't cheat in this program, we celebrate. Can you
Yeah,
celebrate with something that's really just not that great and be okay?
I can, and it makes me feel so happy. And one of the things that
Ooh,
I love
ooh,
to do,
ooh,
Dane,
ooh.
I've always been one of the things I love to do, Dane, is I love to cook,
Yeah.
and I love to. My father's from Italy, and my whole family's Italian. So one of the things that I've always loved to do, and I did with my mom before, is make homemade pasta and make homemade pizza. And when I want to celebrate, I'm able to do that once in a while and still feel good.
Wow. Good job, man. Good job. Did you imagine yourself being here when you started? Did you really feel like you could have got these kind of results?
I did. And like we talked about earlier, it was having belief and faith in natural medicine that always allowed me to picture myself as being a healthy person or being in one of your videos, sharing my story. But I got to say, it wasn't easy to get here, and it
No.
took longer than I expected, but I stuck with it because I always had that belief in it.
Let me ask you this. How important was it to have Coach Lori in your case?
I can't stress enough how important Lori has been in my journey, through this process. She's been amazing. It was super important in the beginning for her to help me, you know, uh, create the protocol and what would be most beneficial for me individually. Her knowledge to be able to coach me through the ups and downs because it wasn't a straight line, as you I'm
Yeah.
sure know. It
Yeah.
never is. It wasn't a straight line. So
Yeah.
her ability to coach me through the ups and downs and be able to be a resource when things weren't going well, even after our individual coaching and calls were done, she's still been able to be a resource if I have a quick question here or there. Like, especially me being in Peru, I'll just reach out to her and say, I'm not able to, go back to the States and get supplements, but I found this alternative here locally. What do you think about this? And she'll, take a look at it for me and give me her advice
Very
and
nice.
guidance.
But Matt, what were two things in your case where nothing worked, tried every diet, years of experience that you think really helped you?
The two things that helped me the most, and I'm still doing them to this day, are a BCPH shake at night. Only I'm not able to get the bentonite clay
Yeah.
here, so I found a different binder that's helpful for me. And I still every night will do a binder and psyllium husk. Um, so that's been super helpful. In the beginning, like you said, it wasn't easy, and it actually my body didn't react that well to the psyllium husk in the beginning. So I was going through the same process, but with acacia fiber for a little while. And then as I healed a little bit and got better, and my body was able to handle it better, I switched to the psyllium husk, and I think that's been super beneficial.
Wow. Well,
And
let me explain to everyone listening so they understand what you just said. He's using a
sure,
binder plus a bulking agent. Because he was so swollen and inflamed, we didn't start with psyllium husk, which can be irritating to a really upset colon. He started on acacia fiber, which is a really light prebiotic insoluble fiber, and then he mixed it with a binder. And the binder, I believe you use is GI detox, right? Which is
yeah,
a
that's correct.
combination. And what was the second thing that you think really helped you out?
The second thing that was super helpful was something that I only just started doing, or I did started it for the 1st time last September. So, less than 6 months ago.
Okay.
So that, over a year and a half into my journey, I did a cleanse, and
Hmm.
I used the guidance of Lori. She helped me to, come up with a protocol and
Yep.
slowly ease my way in. And so
And prep
slowly
your body for it.
prep. Yeah, we did a prep for a few weeks before I started the actual cleanse,
Yep.
and I, slowly built up over 3, 4 months, and was taking the para 1, para 2, and 3, as well as a biotoxin binder
Hmm.
and some other supporting supplements. But I built my way up over those, slowly over those 3, 4 months. And then I felt amazing when I was doing the Paracleanse. And even now, I went off the Paracleanse kind of at the end of last year, but it helped me so much that I want to continue
Yep.
doing quarterly or 2, 3 times a year on a
Yep.
smaller, more acute scale for, 5 days at a time.
So, Matt, amazing. If there's anything you'd like to say, last words to anyone out there who maybe can relate with you, or you were you 2.5 years ago, tried everything, what would be your words of wisdom or hope for them?
Yeah, the thing that I just want to really get out there to anyone who's struggling, and we mentioned it briefly, is it's not a straight line. You're gonna start your journey and start healing, and you may get better quickly or you may not.
Hmm.
But even if you do start feeling better quickly, for me, there were a lot of ups and downs,
Hmm.
and it's scary. But if you stick with what you believe in and you have faith that going the natural holistic route is for you, and I believe that it is for everyone because it was for me, um, you just got to stick with it and stay consistent and stay positive. And eventually, over the long term, even though you're not going to get from point A to point B in a straight line, you're going to go up and down again. You're going to get to where you're going, and you're going to be healthier and happier.
Well said. Thank you, Matt.